Dear God, thank you for today. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for being with us and guiding us and protecting us. Thank you for the courage. Thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the knowledge. Thank you for the opportunities, the trials, and the tribulations. Thank you for my family. Thank you for my wonderful wife. Thank you for the family that we're growing. Thank you for just a mustard seed of hope and being able to lean on that. I just pray that I'm able to diminish myself so that you be more greatly seen. Thank you for guiding me. I ask that you guide my tongue and my actions. I guide that this stream and this energy that I put out is able to help make the world a little bit better of a place. I continue to ask that you sharpen the vision for me and show me exactly how I should form this and how I should put my actions into growing this. Thank you for just allowing me to stumble and fall and get back up. I pray that I'm able to find the correct opportunities ahead so that I can provide for my family and that I'm able to step out in faith and be where you need me to be. Thank you for my family, and thank you for blessing the road in front of us as you bless the one that we leave behind. In your holy name, by your Son, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. What's going on, Tribe Vibe Network? Woo! It is a cold day here. We're in February. February 2nd, 2026. We are here. I know we're late. We're way late. Probably going to mess up the views and whatnot. But who cares? We just got to get it in. I missed Friday of last week. And I didn't want to miss another day. Couldn't let that happen. So we're here. I have some things that I'm thinking about getting into and want to talk about. I don't know how streamlined it is. I don't know how fluid it's going to be, but we're going to be able to make segments and get it done. I would show you the 5-minute journal today, but to be honest, I don't think I did it this morning. Actually, I'm fairly certain I did. Let's see if that's true. Yep, well, I haven't done the last 2 days. I don't know what that's about fully. I was definitely more busy yesterday than I thought I was going to be. I think I need to put this back by my bed. I think I brought it over here to try to influence me to come over here, but at night I leave my phone by my desk. That seems to work really well for me. So yeah, that's on me. I did journal for the past 2 days, missed 4 entries. But we've been working out, we've been growing our network, we've been plotting, we've been scheming, we've been working, doing it, getting our homework turned in and whatnot. So thank you for being here. Welcome to the tribe. Man, we live in a crazy, crazy time, man. Crazy, crazy time. Those Epstein files dropped. That's on my mind. I've heard tidbits from my dad and heard random things online, but I don't really know what to believe and what's true and what's not. I haven't really dove into a source of it, so maybe we should check that out. I found a couple cool people on Instagram that I would love to one day be part of the tribe, so I kind of want to give them a little shine, give them a little love, and cut something up for them. And then I've been having long conversations with people about healthcare in America. We could go back into the scramble of Africa. There's a couple different things that we can get into. Just different things that we can talk about and touch on and whatnot. So yeah. So welcome to Tribe Vibe Network, baby. We're back. We're here. Yeah. So let's see here. The Jeffrey Epstein thing has been on my head. I mean, we just live in a crazy time, man. 3 million pages got doxed. And my dad was saying, Papa P was saying that the survivors of Epstein were upset with how the DOJ dropped the information. See what that's about.
It's just incredibly disheartening that
Bravely sharing her story. Here, let's just check this out real quick. See what this is about. I want that. What do I want? Whoa, don't want that. That's not what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what we're trying to check out here. Don't cover my beautiful face. There we go. How can I get maybe more of this one? Dang it. I get some wild comments lately. So this is the, let's see what she's talking about.
They really failed all of the survivors on this after so many months of saying we're being so meticulous about this and we care so deeply about this. So I think that's where the slap in the face really hurts.
Hi again, everybody. It's now 5 o'clock in New York. According to Donald Trump's Justice Department, case closed, case is over in terms of their handling of the release of the Epstein files. But more importantly, according to Epstein and Maxwell survivors, the process has been a slap in the face. Over a month after the legally required deadline for DOJ to release the files in their entirety, the Department of Justice released a massive trove of 3 million documents. To call the release sloppy and haphazard is about the nicest thing we can say about it. According to my colleague Lisa Rubin, at least 40 known or suspected survivors' names were revealed in the files produced Friday, not just their names, for lots of them, their addresses, their phone numbers. New York Times is reporting that the Justice Department published dozens of unredacted nude photos showing young women and possibly teenagers, underage girls. In a joint statement, 18 survivors slammed the government's handling of their abuse, writing this, quote, "This latest release of Jeffrey Epstein files is being sold as transparency, but what it actually does is expose survivors. Once again, survivors are having their names and identifying information exposed, while the men who abused us remain hidden and protected. The Justice Department cannot claim it is finished releasing files until every legally required document."
It is crazy. Absolutely absurd and the most un-American thing in the world to think and consider the fact that we live in a country where victims are betrayed by our government, where people who are willing to stand up for their neighbors and protect women from violence, even if it's from the state, are murdered, and victims' informations are released so that they can be doxxed. While because it's possible, right? They didn't do it right. The last time they blanked out all these pages, and they're a month behind when they were supposed to be released. Like, this is absurd. This is absolutely absurd. We shouldn't even be mad at our government. Like, we don't even need to be mad at our government. We shouldn't be mad at a political party. We shouldn't be mad at our government. We should be upset at the fact that these human beings are treating other human beings like this. Like, this should be a more personal fucking issue. Like, this is absolutely crazy. These women have the courage to stand against these billionaires, some courage that any American would be lucky to have. Put their voices out there, put their time and energy out there, let their faces be known. And our government just haphazardly doxes and lets out some of their most darkest times of their life, like the information that the retelling and the information and the proof that some of the darkest shit that could possibly happen to a human had happened to them, when, where, and who did it. Like, that's just crazy that we treat people like that, and it's acceptable, and it's just going by. I'm happy they're talking about it, but who's gonna get in trouble over that? Not a damn soul.
Document is released, and every abuser and enabler is fully exposed. This is not over.
Meanwhile, a nurse or a social worker or anyone like that, boots on the ground, actually trying to make our communities and our backyards a better place, accidentally or because they are overworked, slips up on a HIPAA violation and lets one thing out. all of a sudden, because of how bad that is for liability, they get painted as like incompetent and they get like let go, and like their whole lives are ruined. They lose jobs and are held accountable. Which you gotta be held accountable, especially if you're being like grossly negligent. Like that's not what I'm trying to say, but like they were grossly negligent, and like nothing's gonna happen to anyone in power that released any of these files. And they already were so far late. They were over a month late on when they were supposed to drop these files? The fuck, man?
We will not stop until the truth is fully revealed and every perpetrator is finally held accountable. This afternoon, the federal judge who presided over Epstein's criminal case scheduled a hearing. It's on Wednesday to address the Justice Department's redaction failures. In terms of what is new in this release, our reporters are continuing to comb through the millions of files, along with journalists from NBC, CNBC, the Associated Press, and CBS. The New York Times reports this about Donald Trump's frequent appearance in the files, quote, using a proprietary search tool, the New York Times identified more than 5,300 files.
Holy shit.
Containing more than
more than 5,300 files containing more than 38,000 references to Mr. Trump and his wife, his Mar-a-Lago club in Florida, and other related words.
38,000 references to Trump, his wife, his Mar-a-Lago club in Florida, and other related words and phrases in the latest batch of emails, government files, videos, and other records released by the Justice Department. Previous installments of the Epstein files, which the department released late last year, included another 130 files with Trump-related references. None of those files include any direct communication between Trump and Epstein. Besides Trump, there are a number of other powerful men mentioned in these newly released documents. Elon Musk is one of them. He said in 2019 that he never took Epstein up on invitations to his island. It was revealed that he had exchanged multiple emails with the sex trafficker trying to coordinate a visit. Elon Musk writing in one of those emails, quote, "What day/night will be the wildest party on your island," end quote.
What the
former Prince Andrew?
Fuck, bro. That is absolutely wild. Like, and you are like, and he's already known. What's the timeline? Was it known that he was like who he was when Muskie Boy was writing that? I wouldn't want Muskie to come to my parties either. And it's funny that he's calling these parties because like normally these are like everything else has always been making it sound like, well, it's a massage. They spent some time together. Epstein out here making it sound like it's a Diddy party. He said, when's the wildest night to come out in all white? That's wild, bro. That's a wild statement. That's a wild statement. That man owns Twitter. That P-file owns Twitter. That wannabe P-file owns Twitter. Is there age restrictions on Twitter?
And then a brand new photo on all fours, along with an unidentified woman. Sorry to anyone seeing this.
Wait, what was that?
Party on your island, end quote. Former Prince Andrew is also seen in a brand new photo on all fours, along with an unidentified woman. Sorry to anyone seeing this. Co-owner of the New York Giants, Steve Tisch, shows up hundreds of times, mostly in emails, where Epstein proposes women for Tisch to meet. Tisch said in a statement that he did not take Jeffrey Epstein up on any of those invitations. Brett Ratner, the director of the newly released Melania, did we call it a documentary? Documentary, is pictured alongside Jeffrey Epstein in one of the documents. There he is. Donald Trump's Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, who said in a televised interview just a few months ago that he resolved long ago never to be in the same room as Epstein, said his dining room was weird. Said they cut ties. It's revealed in new documents that he had arranged a private lunch with Epstein and his family on Jeffrey Epstein's island. And by the fact that all those guys are in the files doesn't mean that they committed crimes, or at least crimes that could be adjudicated or proven, doesn't mean that they engaged in wrongdoing. It does speak to all the powerful and rich people and all the people that happen to be very, very close to Donald Trump, all of their presence in these files. When it comes to the idea that anyone would have had an incentive for them to stay quiet, some of what's been released answers some of those questions. Now, when it comes to any potential consequences for the new revelations in this big drop of files, here's what the country's Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who visited Ghislaine Maxwell in prison, had to say.
There's a lot of correspondence, there's a lot of emails, there's a lot of photographs, there's a lot of horrible photographs that appear to be taken by Mr. Epstein or people around him, but that doesn't allow us necessarily to prosecute somebody.
Okay. So that's hardly comforting to survivors of Epstein's abuse, who've been steadfast in their calls for accountability and transparency for everyone involved in the heinous crimes.
It's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. So where I'm at is this Department of Justice website where you have to click and say you're not 18, which is, I mean, wild way to check. I just searched Jeff Bezos. But anyway, so I just searched Jeff Bezos because, you know, I don't know, he's the one I picked. I can't go back. Why can't I go back? Why did you break? Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. There we go. I was about to say. But look at this one. Hold on. So this looks like it's from Jeff Bezos. It doesn't say who it's to. For almost a year, we've been working on a new effort which we've internally called Ruby. Ruby is almost ready for its public unveiling, but before we release it broadly, we want to give our best customers a chance to try it first, warrants and all, and give us feedback. I guess that could just be like a spam email. It's just why. I mean, I don't know. You never know. I mean, you never know. What's Ruby? What was it? Jeffy Jeff. What was it? Email my boy directly. Why is that? That's weird, ain't it? How come I can't go to the... You go to certain pages and it just stops? What is this? Showing 21 to 30 of 196 results. I mean, I think anyone that's related to Jeffrey Epstein is wild. It's just wild. You got 196 messages with old Jeffy Jeff. Maybe they're not all from him. I mean, I know it's like we're assuming a lot. You know what I'm saying? Data set 11. That's where that Ruby one came from. Some data set 11. Just announced 8 minutes ago in a press. Press is just starting. Boris Nickel. Who's that? Siberian fashion designer had become something of an icon since his death in 2008. In his 10-year career, he became a respected award-winning designer in Serbia. He was known for combining contrasting elements and using striped motifs, as well as for employing unusual titles for his collections. Okay. But this was in 2016, so I'm looking for a different Boris Nicola. Well, is it the one that's from the World Economic Forum? Would it be the fellow who was at the World... MD, medical school, clinical training, medical center university, Croatia. Is that what that is? Croatia? I'm sorry, I don't know. Harvard graduate program. Huh. I wonder who that is. Bro, now that these have dropped, it's crazy that they didn't protect. It's crazy that they didn't protect anybody. They didn't protect the clients or the victims. And I mean, you guys had to have read this stuff. Like, there has to be breakdowns. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the lawyers who went through this and have done what they have done already. Like, you put all this into collection. You do all those things. Somebody had to go through it and organizing at least once. So, where are their notes? Like, someone give me a template, an index, an organization, a list of who's all in here. Like, there has to be, right? They haven't compiled all this and not ran any version of data analytics on it. So let's see what
the FBI just dropped
Mr. Vodzilla has to say. He's gone through this way more than I have. Like I said, I barely have had time to check this out. So let's see this real quick.
million files, and it is incredible. Huge bombshells about some of the most powerful people on the planet. I can't believe they let some of this stuff out. I mean, it is stunning. Honestly, one of the biggest lies we've seen is the idea that the FBI could possibly come to us and say, not only is there not a client list, there was no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals. Guys, we're about to see planned blackmail to one of the most powerful people
he
on
was
the
just
planet,
doing it
and
for
that is
fun.
Bill Gates.
Loving the game.
Listen, there's a lot we're going to get to, but we have to start with probably the craziest revelation here, which is Jeffrey Epstein emailing himself about Bill Gates. Now, if you don't know, Bill Gates and Epstein had a relationship post-2008. That's a big year. You're going to hear a lot today, because 2008 was the time that Epstein...
It's also the year that Boris was found dead.
pled guilty for soliciting of somebody under the age of 18. He was a predator at this point. Everybody knew it. Now, eventually, Bill Gates would get divorced when all of this came out. Melinda Gates said it was part of the direct cause for the divorce. She said she met Epstein.
Gotta believe women, man. Wild statement. So we've just known that this dude's a pedophile. We've just known.
He was evil personified.
So you have to understand, this is like Bill Gates' kryptonite. He's one of the richest men on the planet. He's got this huge philanthropy arm. But this relationship with Epstein has been a huge problem for him. And Epstein appears to have known that, because in 2013, Bill Gates appears to be distancing himself from Jeffrey Epstein. And Epstein seems to have a problem with that. He says, I assume the dedication to our relation went both ways. Larry has now asked me to recommit to a confidentiality agreement. Basically, he's got to shut up about his relationship with Bill Gates. And this is where the blackmail starts, and it comes in the form of if I were you, I would do X if I were the type of guy that you should be. He says, in that regard, I suggest I buy you the house that you had your heart set on. In addition to 5 years of severance, we'll buy you out of the investment contract we agreed upon, 30 to 40% of an $100 million partnership for $30 million in today's terms. That's what I would have done had I been in your shoes. Then he lays out what he...
In that regard, I suggest I buy you the house that you so had your heart set on. And in addition to 5 years of severance, we'll buy you out of the investment contract we had agreed on for $30 million. That's what I would have done if I'd been in your shoes.
Today's terms. That's what I would have done had I been in your shoes. Then he lays out what he has on Bill Gates, or what he says he has. Quote, to add insult to injury, you subsequently, with tears in your eyes, implore me to delete the emails I had regarding your STD. Your request that I provide you antibiotics that you could surreptitiously give to Melinda, and the description of your... I mean, this is insane. It's completely insane. It's like basically laying out in text form, I would give me millions of dollars, and I can't believe you're asking me to delete the message where you were going to give STD medication to your wife without her knowledge. I mean, it's complete. It's crazy. It's just completely obvious
No
what
trust,
he's
man.
doing here. It's just a nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Here's what you should do. But now that coming out after Epstein's death, this looks really bad for Gates, obviously, because you usually wouldn't blackmail somebody for something that's completely false or fake. I mean, maybe he did that. But we also know Bill Gates had affairs. Obviously, Melinda credits it for their divorce. So it's hard to believe there was nothing sketchy going on. Bill Gates, of course, maintains that it was completely above board. He says the fact this allegation was in here just shows how much Epstein...
Bro, we're talking about the guy who started a company that now has a $3.1 trillion market cap. Bro, that's why the meritocracy shit don't make sense. Because just because he capitalized on some fucking property rights right when fucking internet and operating and computer systems were happening doesn't mean that a man with his character should be in charge or leading or have access to that type of fucking... And I know, okay, bro, dude's a fucking over... He has more money and more influence than you could fucking fathom. And he's out here being a pedophile. Like, what the fuck? Like, slipping his wife STDs. Yeah, what the fuck, bro? But we're supposed to look up to these people. That's wild. That's the society that we've put together for ourselves. One in which string being Lanky MF, who has bro, we're gonna have to go into Bill Gates and watch his fucking story, aren't we? This is just proof nobody should have that much fucking money. No one should have more than $1 billion. No one will ever convince me any one person should have more than $1 billion. Never will anyone ever be able to convince me.
Epstein was willing to defame people, but Epstein lays it out. He says he helped Bill get drugs in order to deal with the consequences of sex with Russian girls, facilitating his illicit trysts with married women, and to being asked to provide Adderall for bridge tournaments. Look, guys, this is exactly what we suspected the whole time. Epstein was providing services to rich people.
It's not just about the
and
pedophile.
expecting payment.
He's a fixer.
Via blackmail.
Getting drugs, getting
and
shit
it's
that
true
you're,
that
you
we
know
don't
your
know
wife and
that
your family
Epstein
know about.
ultimately sent that version of an email to Gates. All we know is he sent that to himself. He may have planned the blackmail and just been drafting something. But what we do know are two things. The Wall Street Journal has reported that Gates was threatened by Epstein over an affair. We also know that after this blackmail email Jeffrey sent to himself was written, eventually Gates sent a $2 million donation to MIT directed by Jeffrey Epstein, which is a bit weird if you had distanced yourself from the guy and y'all had this big falling out. Now again, do we know for sure that Bill Gates did all of that? No, of course we don't. But do I think Bill Gates was innocently looking for charity advice from a after he already pled guilty? No, I don't. I'm sorry, I'm not that gullible. And speaking of not that gullible, we've been lied to also by another richest guy on the planet. Geez, it's a shock why they don't want to put this out. Elon Musk, who has been saying for years that it is a lie that he went to Epstein's island. In fact, he says he refused to go. From Elon, he says, Epstein tried to get me to go to his island. I refused. He says, anyone pushed...
Bro, such a lame, bro. This is exactly how lame acts when he gets caught with some shit and he like tries to spin it. No, I know, bro. I refuse. I actually had moral high ground. And then you flash forward to what really happened. The motherfucker was begging to go. But he's such a lame, no one wanted him there. Bro, again, why do these people have so much damn money? They have no character. They have no morals. They want to be the evil. Why are we letting them get away with this shit? And why is no politician putting feet to fire? What is going on?
Deserves complete contempt. Later responding to another headline which said Elon Musk planned trip to Epstein's private island, and he says this is false. But of course, we start to dig through the files, and we can see on Epstein's calendar that Elon Musk is booked in December 6th of 2014. But maybe you don't believe that. That's just the word of Jeffrey Epstein. But maybe you'll believe the word of Elon Musk, who was caught emailing Jeffrey Epstein to go to his island post the guilty plea. Elon Musk writes, "Will be in BVI St. Bart's area over the holidays. Good time to visit." Jeffrey Epstein says, "I will send a heli for you." Later, Elon Musk writes to Epstein, probably just to Lula and me, his ex-wife, what day and night would be the wildest party on your island? The world's richest man.
Bro, eat the rich ain't no joke, bro. Like, bro, like there's so many problems that can be fixed. Like you could hold the hearts and be so revered if you wanted to like use your influence and your wealth to do like to put humanity in the right direction. And yet you have all the wealth and all the capabilities, and you spend your time and you look forward to ketamine, having too many damn children, and going to wild. I mean, I always thought the Epstein stuff was like massage, quiet, low key, old man retirement home vibes, but apparently there's wild fucking parties. Like, we can't be okay with that, right? Like as a species, like as a human, like as brothers and sisters of Christ, like what are we talking about?
Is asking the most pedophile man for the wildest party on his island. And then it gets more explicit. In 2012, remember, this is the guy who said, I refused it, I could never do that, right? It's false. But here in 2012, he says, do you have any parties planned? I've been working to the edge of my sanity this year. I really want to hit the party scene in St. Bart's or elsewhere and let loose. The invitation is much appreciated, but a peaceful island experience is the opposite of what I'm looking for. Guys, he can't even play the I went to go study math excuse, which is what all these guys do. They say, hey, I just went to go talk to scientists. Elon's like, hey, I don't want to do that. I'm looking for a party. That's what I'm here to do. And then Jeffrey Epstein writes, understood, I will see you on St. Barth. The ratio on my island might make your ex-wife uncomfortable. I can't believe these guys are lying to us, and people are swallowing it still, thinking that Elon Musk had nothing to do with this guy. So again, that's 2012. That's 2014. But guess what? There's another time in 2013. I mean, this seems like a yearly thing with the boys. Here, once again, Elon Musk writes, we'll be in the BVI St. Bart's area over the holidays. Again, is there a good time to visit? Jeffrey Epstein, any day, 1st to the 8th, play it by ear if you want, always space for you. They then plan some more, and you might think, well, if Elon ever told the truth, this is when he has to reject, right? Because he said, I refused. But actually, it appears to be one of those cases where, like, your friend says, like, oh, bro, I dumped her. And actually, it was the other way. Yeah, it turns out Elon didn't dump the the dumped Elon. He says, bad news. Unfortunately, my schedule will keep me in New York. Hopefully, we can schedule another time in the future. Jeffrey Epstein let Elon down. That's actually the real story. Is the reason he didn't go in 2013 was because he couldn't go. Jeffrey Epstein was not there. Guys,
bro, they all were there, bro. I swear to God.
How blatant do they have to make it before we start to just see through it, right? When they issue these ridiculous denials, they're totally associated with the guy after the guilty plea. They lie through their teeth, but they can't even keep their story straight. I mean, that's what's crazy. They're not even competent at this. They get caught in their own lies all the time. Remember, the FBI's official story was they didn't blackmail. Well, before we even had these files, Howard Lutnick was on the record calling Jeffrey Epstein the greatest blackmailer ever.
So how come Bill Gates and all these other people could hang around him and not see what you saw? Or did they see it and ignore it? Or
no, they participated.
Right.
That's what his MO was, you know, get a massage. And what happened in that massage room, I assume was on video. This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever.
Interesting. Oh.
Who was that? Who just said that?
Okay, so Howard has a different perspective. Now, if you don't know, that guy, do you think he's just telling the truth there? Even this guy who's contradicting the official narrative, this guy literally lived next to Jeffrey Epstein. This guy was like, I'm gonna tell the truth. Those guys participated. That guy lives next to Jeffrey Epstein. And by the way, he lied too. I love this video we're about to get into because this guy, Mr. He's the greatest blackmailer ever, does he know something we don't know? Because it's interesting, Mr. I'm his neighbor had to also explain how he had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. And he lays it out pretty simply. He goes, yep, I lived next to him, but in 2005, I had such a horrible experience that I knew I could never talk to him again.
He was your neighbor for 10 years. How well did you know him?
We move in 2005, okay? Jeffrey Epstein is arrested in like 08, I think, or something like that.
Right.
So knock on the door. His assistant on like a Saturday says, Mr. Epstein, your neighbor would like to invite you over for coffee. And there's a massage table in the middle of the room. Massage table in the middle of your house? how often you have a massage? And he says, every day. And then he like gets like weirdly close to me.
Ooh.
And he says, and the right kind of massage.
Ooh.
Now my wife is standing here. So she looks at me and I look at her and we say, I'm sorry, we have to go. And we left. And in the 6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house to my house, my wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person.
Is this man about to get
ever
caught?
again.
What are the odds? Is this guy about to get caught? Did he go to the island? Did he request to go to the biggest, wildest party that they have to offer? Did he personally fund Epstein's big wild party? Find out this time on Dragon Ball Z.
Well, he couldn't be more clear, could he, right? He says, hey, I may have been his next door neighbor, but I met him once before the 2008 guilty plea. Remember I said that was a big deal? And we got invited over, and it was like 5 seconds, and we left, and we realized he was a creep. We were out of there. He made this rude, lewd comment in front of my wife. I would never go see this guy. I mean, he makes it super clear he's gross.
So I was never in the room with him socially, for business, or for even philanthropy. If that guy was there, I wasn't going because he's gross.
These other guys, they may have participated.
They participate.
He's getting
But
caught.
Howard Lutnick,
He's getting
he
busted
could
down.
never. No,
I can
he's
feel
too
it.
good of a guy.
I can
Well,
feel it.
guess what we found in the old emails? Looky. It's Howard Lutnick writing in to Jeffy Boy in 2012. Hi, Jeff. We're landing in St. Thomas early afternoon, planning to head over. Where are you located? What's the exact location for my captain? Does Sunday evening for dinner sound good? Is this the guy you said made a lewd comment to your wife and, oh, I could never be in front of him? He's gross. Guess what the next email is? My boy's wife messaging in, saying we're headed towards you in St. Thomas. Later, the subject line, Jeffrey Epstein. Good morning, Howard. Jeffrey wished me to pass you along. Nice seeing you. They clearly met, and the guy is just lying about it to your face, to the American public's face, and they tried to hide it from us. I cannot emphasize this enough. They're lying through their teeth. You think this guy perfectly remembers a 2005, like, walking in the guy's house? I remember exactly what I said to him. My wife and I looked at each other, and he wouldn't remember the 2012. I boated over to his private island for a dinner. Is that what we're really thinking? Is that what we're expected to believe? This is a momentary lapse in his judgment. No, these guys don't even care about being consistent, and they're all throwing each other under the bus. Don't you remember Elon Musk saying, the time to drop the really big bomb, Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they haven't been made public. My guy, you also are in the Epstein files, very clearly doing stuff you lied about, okay? So is Howard Lutnick, who says, yeah, Bill Gates, he's probably getting blackmailed because he participated. What did you do on the island over in 2012, Howard? Do we know that? I mean, does anyone care? Now, the last thing I want to talk about is some of the most explosive stuff. It's also, again, I have to say, unverified, okay? This is the NTOC, the FBI's National Threat Operations Center, and the challenge with confirming some of this is that these are anonymous tips, or they black them out at least, so we don't know who they are, and anyone can drop a tip. Now, that doesn't mean that you should disregard them. It just means we can't verify them. The other challenge is that the FBI has a heavy incentive to discredit anything with Donald Trump in it, just because he's in the White House right now, obviously. And so I want to be clear, there are notes related to some of these submissions where they say things like complainant was spoken to and deemed not credible. Additional research showed 3 separate redacted. You know, it's hard to tell how much this is the proper due diligence of the FBI, which they should be doing, of course, and not all complaints are credible. But also there's this obvious conflict of interest with the fact that the sitting president is in some of these complaints. But here they are for what it's worth. Complaint summary. Blank reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform on President Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. The friend told Alexis that she was approximately 13 to 14 years old when this occurred, and the friend allegedly bit President Trump while performing. The friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump. The friend also said she was abused by Epstein. Later, there's very explosive claims about big parties with her, other younger girls, and older Victoria's Secret models, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. There's claims third hand about a female victim of Epstein's who wants to publish a book citing Leslie Wexner, Epstein, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Ghislaine Maxwell is in the videos as well. And it goes on like this for a while. Some of the complaints are just like very graphic, and obviously I'm gonna censor out some of it. But I should also mention the DOJ claims that some of these claims were submitted to the FBI right before the 2020 election. To be clear, the claims are unfounded and false, and if they had any shred of credibility, they would have certainly been weaponized against President Trump already. Now, I agree that if a complaint is timed right before an election, there definitely could be some other motivations to that. But it's also ridiculous to say that anything in the Epstein files, if it were true, would have come out already. Because why didn't we see the stuff about Bill Gates, for example? I mean, that stuff apparently has been sitting in here for a long time. And not only did no one talk about it, the FBI literally, covered for it. I mean, they said that this was not the case. There are big claims against a lot of powerful people. Nobody in that file really wants to rock the boat or release the files because then they get in trouble and their buddies get in trouble. And that's a huge problem. So I don't really...
And I'm not just saying that, our congressmen and women and our senators and our elected officials are employees of the wealthy, of the corporations and of the wealthy. And who are the corporations? The people who sit on the boards. Not even just the CEOs. The shareholders, the board members that sit on multiple boards from multiple Fortune 500 companies and Fortune 200 companies. And they sit there and they are able to persuade and get and write tax code, and not just tax code. They get to write legislation, and they get to pay all of these elected officials for their campaign funds, for their dinner parties, for all this other bullshit, to give them inside information on what they're doing in the market, so that they can go ahead and make millions off of trading, off insider trading. These things are known. These things are seen. We can see these things. And this Epstein shit, if someone like Bill Gates is blackmailed, of course no one's going to out all this shit. Of course no one's going to expose this. You expose one, you're going to expose them all. If they would have turned on Bill would have turned on Bill Clinton. They would have turned on Bill Clinton, then Bill Clinton could have outed Bill Gates, then Bill Gates could have outed Trump, and they would just came out one by one. You know what I'm saying? Like our government has an incentive to move off of this Epstein shit from the top down. All right, and that's not even counting the whole Israel tie. There's a whole Israel tie, and this intelligence might not have just been for our own. Jeffrey Epstein might not have been working for us. One or two things, and if he has all this information, he has all of this blackmail on all these rich elites and governmental officials, right? He has blackmail on our government. On our governmental officials. It could be a Herbert Hoover move where you're trying to make sure you have blackmail so the intelligence community can stay at large. I feel like they would have used that on Trump a while ago if this was our agent collecting blackmail for the American intelligence system. We would have outed it when Donald Trump has been crashing out on our intelligence communities, installing people, going after the FBI. He's been a wrecking ball to our internal integrity within our intelligence system. So we never issued it on, we never dropped it on Trump. If we never dropped it on Trump, why are we why? So what I'm trying to say is I don't think it's our intelligence. I think it belongs to Israel. I think Israel got, and then because then the other thing that I don't think we are taking into consideration. The real thing that we are not taking into consideration is, how do we know Jeffrey Epstein's the only fucking one? For real, how do we know? There's so, money is so fake on fucking Wall Street. Hedge funds, all this other shit. You just need one guy working within the hedge fund to cover up the fact that he has millions of dollars moving from one side to another. If Jeffrey Epstein's uneducated ass could get all these jobs and qualifications that put him in a title that made sense for him to move in these circles and to move money the way he was moving money, how many other fixers are there for elites? Maybe the reason no one's trying to take this down on the top is because there's a whole industry of motherfuckers like this. You look at P. Diddy. I mean, the P. Diddy documentary is painting him very differently. He's his own type of fucking monster. But what I'm trying to say is there's a demand for some shit like this. There are I think you have to sell your soul. My personal opinion is you have to sell your soul to gain so much power and not care how that power is getting used. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it takes a lot of responsibility and a lot of character to handle responsibility and influence respectfully. And I don't think anyone in our, like, I think people are selling their souls to make it easy, to take the deal, to shut up because they want the power, they want the influence, they want the fame, they want to be surrounded by ivory, what the fuck ever, caviar. They want to, they don't know how to pursue joy and happiness on their own, so they're filling the void with any sort of sin, toxin, dopamine that they can find, and like their thrills like higher and higher, and like, you know, like, I mean, that's the game, right? Is that not the game? Is that not the game that we are all like told to play? Like, you have to be the best, so you have to crush everybody underneath you, right? Is that not the game? Is that not what capitalism is teaching us? That, hey, if you want to go out there and be successful, it's not about what you can do for others. It's about how bad can you beat them. I mean, if that's the game we're playing, and those are the people at top, you know, what they have to do to get up there. You know what I'm saying? So I think once you're up there, you don't really care. I mean, obviously he's a fixer. He's talking about, like, it wasn't all just underage shit. I mean, yes, Donald Trump may or may not have gotten blown by a 13 or 14-year-old female 30 years ago, right? So I'm sure he's done it since then. I'm sure that wasn't his first time, you know what I mean, nor his last. But there's also, like, you know, Bill Gates getting STD from cheating on a married Russian woman. What type of psychological power thing is that it has to be a married woman? But he's trying to get he's trying to use his fixer Jeffrey Epstein to hook him up with STD pills for not just himself, but so he can slip them to his wife while she like is unaware. These men have no character, bro. All they have is they have a bunch of money going into marketing teams that are making you think their persona and how they present is who they really are. And it's sickening, bro. These people are sick. These people are destroying our country. These people are destroying our homes. These people have so much, and that's the reason we have so little. And even if you think you got something, look outside, brother. We should have so much more. You shouldn't just have, like, be able to buy stuff. You should be able to own some shit. You should be able to own a stake of your own future. You shouldn't have to rely on hourly and salary wages. Hourly and salary wages should be tools that we use to own our own shit, to own our own property, to own our own business, to own our own ability to create value in this world. At least be able to own our own freaking homes and cars. Right now, the bank owns all that shit to support this shit. This crazy ass shit. It's sickening, man. This is actually gross. And, like, I don't think he's the only one. And, you know, I'm not even convinced the motherfucker's dead. I'm sorry. Think about that. He got Bill, Donald, Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, What's crazy? Me not thinking Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, or you not thinking that Bill Gates, Donald Trump, and Bill Clinton have the power and influence to pull off like a fucking double situation where they sneak someone else in, or fake all the reports, or get rid of all the fucking footage, or never really show us enough to really like let us like see what happened. Like, which one really? Which one is really crazy? I think they have plenty of power and influence to make that happen. To set some shit up, to make it look like, to have just enough evidence for a judge to get a ruling, or have the right judge in place, to have the right detective in place, the right guards in place, the right faulty camera in place. You're telling me 2 former presidents and a man who started a company that now has a $3.1 trillion market cap don't have the influence to pull some shit like that off? But then Tribe, well then why is it coming out now? Because there's good lawyers in place. There's enough good Congress people to write a law saying that you have to do it, and Trump's egotistical enough to sign it. You know what I'm saying? He can't admit no fault, so he put his back against the wall. Ignorance is literally tearing them apart. Egotistical, gluttony, whatever you want to call it. Okay, I'm gonna shut down tonight. It's late. I just jumped on here for the habit of it anyway. It's some crazy shit. I'm tired. I can't even give you how I really feel because I'm tired. I apologize. I know it's gonna be a quick one tonight, but I mean this shit crazy, bro. The shit about our president right now is out here sending out masked men who have murdered at least 2 American citizens in broad daylight, recorded on camera and sent virally for all Americans to see. And he's in these files with people claiming, with a complaint against him saying that he received a BJ from a 13-year-old girl. He's in these documents 38,000 times in 5,300 different files. We probably don't even fully understand what the hell is really going on. And all that, what would it really take? They were late on dropping this shit for over a month, right? They were over a month late on dropping this. How do we not know that the worst of the worst ain't in this shit? You know what I mean? Like the worst evidence, the shit where it's like, oh shit, yeah, no, I can't deny that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy shit, man. Crazy time to be alive. Crazy time to not be political. Crazy time to want to back this shit and not switch your heart and pray. It's a crazy time to just let things go unsaid and unnoticed. It's a crazy time to just sit back and watch everything fall apart. It's a crazy time to not try and to make a difference. It's a crazy time. You know. So. Alright, guys. Let me say a quick prayer here and we'll get out of here. Dear God, thank you for today. I just pray that enough of us have the courage and boldness and rely on your visions and your lessons and your teachings to try to make the world a better place and stand up against injustice. Please help me be more consistent, keep my daily routines, my morning routines, my night routines, and my midday routine. I pray that I'm able to just find the right opportunities to provide for my family and be able to dedicate to Tribe Vibe Network. Thank you for all the opportunities, trials, and tribulations, and I pray that I'm able to shoulder the responsibility that is given to me. Thank you for finding me trustworthy. Thank you for showing me mercy, and thank you for always forgiving me. I apologize for stumbling and falling and not being the best that I know I can be. Thank you for just the renewance of my mind. Thank you for allowing me to use my voice. And I pray that my actions and my words are able to make this world a better place. Thank you for always blessing everyone from us as you bless. Oh, real quick. I just pray for those that are in a dark place. I pray that they're able to find your light and that they can find the mustard seed of hope to lean on. I pray that they have the faith to know that tomorrow will be better. I pray that you're able to guide people to shepherd them back into safety. I just pray that you just are always at work. And even when things seem dark and hopeless, that we are able to find your light and your will. And I just continue to ask that those who have turned their back on you or doing the will of the wicked are able to reflect and find your teachings and find your lessons and come back to you. I just pray that all humans are able to just be a little empathetic and a little bit more understanding of their brothers and sisters. And I just ask that you continue to bless the road in front of us as you bless the one that we leave behind. In your holy name, by your Son, Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. Peace.